It is January 30th, the year of the snake. Welcome to the Winers. I'm Ryan in Area 50 in Texas. Hi to my co-host Jeff, and I'm going to introduce our guest Salman Ahmad shortly. But how you doing,
Good
Jeff?
evening. I'm very well. Nice to see you. You're looking very snazzy, even snazzier than usual tonight.
Well, the 28th was Chinese New Year. 29th was it? 28th, I think it was. So I thought I would wear my Chinese silk shirt. My neck has gotten a little bit big, so I can't quite button it up there.
Well, we all celebrate in our own way. I'm sleeping with a Chinese spy. That's how I'm celebrating. You got to take whatever you can get. You know what I mean? When you look like me.
So what are you drinking tonight, Jeff?
I'm drinking Barrel Heist, which is a naughty wine. It's supposed to make you feel dangerous. It's sort of an outlaw wine. And I don't know, I told you I'd start spending a little bit more money. It's only $7.99 at Trader Joe's, but it's $15 on average throughout the nation. So I'm edging my way upward. And I must say the first few, I've been letting it breathe for about 45 minutes, and it's superb so far.
Nice, nice. Well, what I am drinking is called Phantom, and this is from Bogle, and it's just a red blend, and actually it costs about $15, and it tastes like it's about $50, but it is that. Now, our guest, who I'm dying to introduce, Sal, what are you drinking?
Hey, so hi Ryan, hi Jeff. Great to be on your show
Hey, Sal.
tonight, the Winers. And so I want to tell a little story before I tell you what I'm drinking.
All right, all
Okay?
right. Shoot.
Am I allowed?
Yes, yeah,
You're
yeah,
allowed.
yeah.
You are such a multifaceted hyphenate that you can't even fit it all.
But Sal, you got to let me tell everybody who you are after you tell the story.
Okay, all right. So the
That's
story
how
is
we'll go.
it's a simple story, but it connected to your discussion about the Winers. So four friends, four travelers, they are in the forest and they get lost, and they're in the forest for like 3 days. They got nothing to drink, nothing to eat, and they only have this one gold coin between them. And they start arguing with each other, and they all come from different cultures, different languages. So one says, if I don't have angur, I'm gonna die. Okay. So the other guy says, if I don't have uzum, I'm gonna die. The third guy says, if I don't have inab, I'm gonna die. And the fourth says, no angur, no uzum, no inab. I need stafil, otherwise I'm gonna die. And so because they haven't had anything, any nutrition, they start fighting amongst themselves in this cacophony of Angur, Uzum, Inab, Stafil, Angur, Uzum, Inab, Stafil, Angur, Uzum. And it's like the whole forest is echoing with this. So there's this guy, old man, who goes, what are you guys fighting over? He said, we're hungry and I want Angur. And he says, Uzum, Inab, Stafil. So he said, okay, stop fighting, please. I'll get you, each of you, what you want. They said, but the problem is we only have one gold coin. He said, if you give me that one gold coin, I'll get you each what you want. So they figure that he's gonna run away, and he's, he's gonna go over the coin. But he said we have no choice. So gives the guy, the old man, the gold coin, and they wait for like an hour, and they tell each other, see that we got gypped. But after an hour, the old man comes back and he's got he's got these four bags with him. He gives one to the Angur guy, one to the Uzum guy, one to the Inab guy, and finally to the other friend, the Stafil guy. Now, when they look in, each one says, oh my God, you got me Angur. The other guy says, you got me Uzum. Third guy says, you got me Inab. And the final guy, fourth guy says, you got me Stafil. How were you able to do that with one gold coin? So he said, it was simple. All you guys wanted was grapes. But now you have to draw the wine out of the grapes. So wine, just to let your viewers know, I don't know where they are. So wine is a metaphor for enlightenment and knowledge. and I'm having my favorite fruit, which is orange juice.
Well,
Calcium,
All right.
vitamin D, pulp
that's
free.
be, that's because you're already enlightened. You don't want to be over enlightened.
Well,
Well, because we
Sal.
love you, I'm going to fix the label that's showing there so
Oh, good.
it
Well,
all
while you
fits
do
in. I
that,
see a way to do it. Why don't you explain to our beloved audience who Sal is, and while you're doing that, I'm going to fix that. And you're gonna
so
love it.
people may have recognized Sal on the intro there in the video because his band Junoon sold 30 million records and was basically the U2 of Asia, a Sufi rock band. And I think this is your book from 2014 that you wrote kind of about yourself. But I found some of this very interesting. 30 million records is huge. And the key thing that was interesting, you were facing down pretty much both a religious and political military dictatorship that wanted to ban all music in the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. And you created this band and just went to the top of the charts. And but in the book, you have discussed how you became listening to Led Zeppelin in New York, hanging out at different Beatles clubs. But today, you are kind of continuing. I think you have music that you're going to be doing as a concert coming up soon. We want to hear about that. But you are today, you're a UN Goodwill Ambassador, and you're doing a lot of work on the question of Imran Khan, which I really want to get into that briefly as it relates to what's going on in the United States. But the main thing is that your idea as kind of this musical pioneer is to help heal the wounds between East and West. That's your mission, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, thank you so much for that, warm welcome, Ryan and Jeff. Quickly, for people who don't know here, my mom came to the United States in 1961. She was 18 years old, and she came from Pakistan. Now, for those people who, at that time, India was split into two countries in 1947, India and Pakistan. So there was a West Pakistan and an East Pakistan, and later on, East Pakistan became Bangladesh. My mother, she had this passion to come to the United States. And there was an American Field Services program which brought students from all around the world to the United States for a year in high school. Okay. So my mother came, she took this really long journey from Lahore to Karachi by train, from Karachi to Tehran, from Tehran to London, from London to Southampton, and in a ship, ocean liner, from Southampton to New York, and then from New York by bus to Oakland, California, to spend a year in high school. And my mother, at the age of 18, as a teenager, saw American culture from within. And she just loved all that she saw. She met JFK when the students were invited to the White House. He gave them a speech about peace and being friends of peace. And my mother loved America, and then she infected us with that passion. And when my parents got married, uh, the first place we moved to from Pakistan was Washington, D.C., and then Virginia. And from that time to here, my life has been in the U.S. and Pakistan, basically. So, just a synopsis.
No. That's fascinating. And you had so first of all, let me just tell people, which will bring this up again. You set up a nonprofit with your wife. So that's what I had put up on the screen there for people to take a look at. This is the Salman and Samina Global Wellness Initiative. And it seems to me that the key idea is this cross-culture dialogue. That's the idea behind it, which
You were talking about healing East-West wounds. What wounds? I didn't know that we had wounds.
So,
I don't
are
know if
you
I'm
asking me
asking
or are you
Sal
asking
or
Ryan?
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should be asking Ryan because he's the one
well,
who said it.
Sal, why don't you take that?
Okay. Well, you see, through the years, as I write in my book, that I always, I didn't saw any division between East and West. I mean, that's the way my music, our music is also the same way as well. It's like, you know how the Beatles, when George Harrison and John Lennon and Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, they went to India to study transcendental meditation, and they met the
Yeah.
Maharishi and stuff. So they all saw it as one circle, all the Eastern instruments, the ideology of love, the Summer of Love, 1967. So my music and my worldview has been heavily informed by John Lennon and the Beatles. And so when, for example, 9/11 happened, Jeff, I mean, that was like a hate virus was spread throughout the world. When those planes went into the World Trade Center, it just divided the world. And then I thought, like, wait a minute, these are my two worlds. This is New York City, where I went to see Led Zeppelin in Madison Square Garden, and then all of the 19 of the 21 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, and all of this anti-Islam rhetoric that started coming, like strange, and then the war in Iraq and the Afghanistan and OBL. So my whole life was changed on 9/11.
OBL, Jeff, is Osama bin Laden, right? Am I
Correct.
right, Sal? Okay, just wanted to make sure I got it right.
He has to
So
be the smartest guy in the room every
No,
time.
no, no. I think Sal beat me. He's a doctor. He beat me.
All right.
in a sense, I didn't choose this. I didn't choose to, like, a lot of what do rock musicians want to do? They love to play music, go up on stage for as many people as they can find, and play the music and go home and then shut up. But it seemed to
And
me
sleep
that
with
I was
Chinese spies too while they're on the road. You forgot that part. That's the most fun part, isn't it?
Hey, Bruce Lee was, he was my man.
Yeah, he
So I
was.
don't know if he was a Chinese spy or not, but yeah.
All right, so I think I get what you mean by healing the East-West rift. There is anti-Islam sentiment amongst many of our fellow Americans, that's for sure. I don't know if there's hostility coming from the other side, though, is there?
Well, it's a strange world. Yesterday, Jeff, I read one of the news I think on the BBC that the doomsday clock is now 89 seconds. It's 89 seconds is doomsday. That the world can blow up in our lifetimes. We have the capability to nuke the civilization, and
Right.
we have to be careful with all these conflicts, whether it's in the Middle East or in Ukraine or Afghanistan or anywhere, or extremism. We have to figure out a new strategy to work towards peace rather than having if you
Right.
only have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. You're like,
That's
you
true.
know.
So do
Yeah.
you merge all these different hats that you wear sort of in one seamless package, meaning that when is your music lyrically about this, or is, you just talk about it separately? Is it more about the vibe of the show than it is about the actual literal lyrics?
Well, great question. The music side, it takes in my influences, which is Zeppelin and the Beatles and Santana and Van Halen, and then the music that I grew up listening to in Pakistan, which is the love poetry of the Sufis, which is they see the world as one. The Sufis always want people to come together, like the Beatles said, come together. And then lyrically, like for example, Iqbal is the poet of the East. He envisioned the country of Pakistan in a dream, and he writes, "Pour me the wine, pour me the wine which burns the veil." The wine that intoxicates the entire universe, that wine which illuminates the conscience. So, again, that wine metaphor comes. He's saying really that human beings should be able to get along with each other, regardless race, religion, creed. And that's Sufism, which is Islamic Sufism. But unfortunately, in the world, they only see Osama bin Laden to being the face of Islam, which drove me crazy, by the way. I was like, what? It's like using the Unabomber and calling him a religious terrorist.
You could say that about just about all kinds of different, ethnic or religious backgrounds as well.
Hey, we have a phone call. Do you want to take a chance that it might be even relevant and it might be for Sal?
Sal, you okay with that?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
All right,
take
let's
it.
see. Let's see.
Sal
who's it.
likes to jam. He's so easygoing. Go ahead.
Hey there, you're on with Salman Ahmad and Ryan Milton and Jeff Norman. What's on your mind? Are you there, caller?
Hi, I'm trying to figure out how to join the podcast on X.
Well, you've already done it. You have figured it out. So you can go straight to talking about whatever you want to discuss. We hear you. What's your name?
My name is Nisar, and I'm trying to figure out what is the discussion going on because I was not able to listen to anything.
Oh, we're live.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were what? I'm not sure how much we can hold your hand right in the middle of the show. I thought that you knew why you were calling.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. But yeah, if you
So you're having trouble finding us on X? Is that it?
Yes.
All right, go to @RealScottRitter, @RealScottRitter, and that's where you can find us on X.
somebody's calling me Hugh Hefner. Hooray! I am wearing my Chinese.
Okay, I got it.
All right,
Good.
Is that
good.
it? That's all you wanted to know?
That's what he wanted. Chinese
guess so.
I'm
silk.
going to listen. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any other advice that you need? Any beauty tips or anything? Health and beauty? Okay, take it. Sorry. I told you we were taking a chance by taking it.
That's all right. It's all right. It's cool. They think we're a big operation. So I want to jump in because of, there is somebody on X, and I don't actually know his name, but he goes by, here, I'll throw him back up again, Pirate Smurf. And he's the one who said, you got to have Sal on the show. And he frequently, he watches a lot of our shows and always posts something about free Imran Khan. And I think this has a lot to do with this question of healing the East and West divide, and also where we are now in the so-called golden era. So this is a picture of you, and I'm guessing this is when you were the cultural advisor to Prime Minister Imran Khan. Can you tell us a little bit about that role that you had with the Prime Minister before we get into some of the history there?
Sure, Ryan. So just for people to know, Imran Khan is like the Muhammad Ali of cricket. He was a great athlete, the greatest of all times. And when I was studying medicine, I went from the US to study medicine in Pakistan. I used to play cricket with him. And so he became a friend, obviously a mentor. And this is, he won the World Cup for Pakistan against England in Australia. And then he came into politics back in 96. Now, I've always, been with him. But when he became the prime minister, he said, that Pakistan is the fifth largest population, huge youth population, 50% women. And he said, I need somebody to talk about culture. So he made me a special advisor on culture. Uh, when he was the prime minister, I did this film called Spiritual Democracy, which is in 4 parts. But in 3.5 years, we were dealing with a pandemic, the economic crisis. I couldn't do too much, as a cultural advisor because you were homebound. You couldn't go out, during the pandemic. So in April of 2022, he was toppled by the general, his own chief of army staff, General Bajwa, who connived.
That was April 9th, 2022. It was not that long ago.
Oh, yeah, like 34 months ago. He connived through this think tank to tell the Biden administration that Imran Khan was anti-American, he's pro-Russian, and he's pro-Chinese, and he's pro-Taliban, and nobody. I don't know if President Biden even took the time to have a conversation with Prime Minister Imran Khan, because you would have found that Imran Khan's been coming to the United States for the last 30 years. He builds cancer hospitals, and he's got a huge following in the United States. Uh, in
Yeah, and he met
2019,
with President Trump while he was president. And I meant to have that picture to throw up on the screen, but I forgot. So what I've been putting up here are pictures of his arrest when he had to go to court. And I think this was in May of 2023 when he came back to his hometown. It's just incredible, the support, as you say.
yeah, Ryan, so great point. In 2019, when Prime Minister Imran Khan came to Washington, D.C., he sold out the Capital One Arena with the Pakistani American community, sold out completely. And the next day, when he met President Trump said to him, he said, you're a rock star, and you're a cricket player, and they hit it off. Trump and Imran Khan hit it off immediately,
Right.
which raised huge flags for the militarized connection that had been between Pakistan and the United States since, for the last 70 years. And the general who toppled him felt insecure that if Imran Khan has made a direct connection with President Trump, uh, he's going to take this country in another direction. So he toppled him. And unfortunately, President Trump didn't get reelected,
Yeah.
you know.
So one thing for our audience, I'm showing these videos. None of these people are Imran Khan's bodyguards. These were all of the police that were arresting him. If I'm not mistaken, like here, this is the video where they are throwing him basically into the back of a paddy wagon. That's when they're arresting him. He's right in the middle there, getting manhandled into the truck, I guess.
And Ryan, these are army commandos, rangers. This was ordered. This illegal, unconstitutional abduction, which you see, he was sitting in court in Islamabad High Court, and these the army chief sent these rangers into the court. They broke the doors down, they broke the glass, they harmed the lawyers, and they dragged him on live television, as you're showing. This is the 9th of May, 2023.
So now let me just
You want to
back
take another
up.
phone call?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
all
do
right.
it.
Maybe this one will work out. We can
All
just
right.
stop doing it if it doesn't work out.
I mean, if they want to know about like where you get this shirt, there's no way I can tell them.
Hey there, you're on live with us. What's on your mind?
Hi again. I was able to figure out how to log on to your show.
That's fantastic.
So
That is really
Thanks for
big
your help.
news. Well, you're very welcome.
I signed up with X just today. I've never been on Twitter before. So my comments are related to the similarities between what is going on in Pakistan and what has been going on with Donald Trump.
Hold
for the
that
last
thought.
4 years.
No, don't hold it. Let's
Because-
hear
Go
it.
for it. Go for it. Yeah.
Because, Donald Trump had a lot of fake charges against him in this country. And it's the same story in Pakistan. The elections were rigged in Pakistan, that's for sure. People can debate what they want about the elections here. So the similarities are very eerie. The difference is that we have some law and some justice in this country, and in Pakistan there is none. There's a covert martial law going on at this time. When Imran Khan was in power, they wanted to do the same. They wanted him to be a puppet and pull the strings. But he was resisting it, so they were trying to find ways to get rid of him. And when he went to Russia just a day or two before Russia and Ukraine started their war, um, he was trying to make a deal for cheaper oil for Pakistan because Pakistan needs that energy to survive. Um, and obviously, our secret agencies knew that there's going to be a war. They didn't want any help to Russia, and that was one of the big reasons why it happened. Another thing is Americans don't want we don't want to show that our arms and ammunition is being used in any war. So initially we try to buy it from some third party and sell it to the party we favor. So Pakistan army got a big contract to supply arms to Ukrainians, and Imran Khan would not have allowed that.
Mm.
So there are many things which are
What's
behind
the
the scenes.
what's the charge that he's in on? What is the accusation?
Salman, do
So,
you know?
Yeah, Jeff. So they threw
So I
the
think
book. What they did was, from terrorism to sedition to selling state secrets, uh, selling precious gifts. Now he's been in solitary confinement, Jeff and Ryan, since August 5th, 2023, in a torture cell. I mean, he's 72 years old. He's the former prime minister, and they treat him like a terrorist. You know, during the winter, he had no heating in it. During the summer, no fan even. And they're trying to break him to make a deal. Most civilian prime ministers in Pakistan's history have never spent time like the way Imran Khan is in a torture cell. And what they do is make a deal with the army and they leave the country. The army chief, in this case, Asim Munir, wants Imran Khan to make a deal and so he can get out of the country so that he can take total control and become a super king for like a decade. But Imran Khan has said, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to fight my cases they don't even take him to court. Basically, it's the jail is the court. And so each one of the cases, close to 200, they're all bogus cases. Richard Grenell, President Trump's presidential envoy secret mission, said bogus cases, free Imran Khan now. Christmas Day, he said that. Ambassador Zalmay Khalilzad, stop the arbitrary detention of Imran Khan, free him now. The United Nations, release
Matt
Imran
Gates.
Khan.
Matt Gates has said it too.
Like
Right.
if I was to start naming you all the lawmakers, United States lawmakers, both Democrat and Republican senators, and even the letters to Tony Blinken when he was the Secretary of State, it's all about free Imran Khan and all the political prisoners who've been just put in on these bogus charges. But the story behind this, Jeff,
Well,
is
while you're talking, let's bring in Jose Vega because this will be a good segue into since this caller brought up the comparison to Trump. This is a very big week with Trump's nominations facing confirmation hearings, and Jose was at Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation hearing today. But I'm
right.
sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to get Jose into it. Thanks for the call, sir, and welcome to the world of X. It's a very harmonious, loving environment. You're going to be filled with all kinds of good vibes. Thanks for your call. Hey, Jose.
Oh,
No,
that
no, no.
my cue?
Yeah, no, you're good. Sal was going to say a couple more things there.
Yeah, go on with what you were saying. I just wanted to bring Jose in.
hi Jose. I hope you're well.
Tired, but I'm good. Hope you're good too.
Yeah, yeah, very good. So just to give you the Trump Imran Khan comparison, uh, Imran Khan, like I said, was a world class athlete. He had no political background. He came into politics which was two dynastic parties, uh, the Bhuttos and the Sharifs, and he single handedly, set up his party is called the Tehreek-e-Insaf, which means the Movement for Justice. And for nearly 30 years, his single point agenda is accountability and justice, rule of law, democracy. And over the last 30 years, he's faced everything. When he became the prime minister, Pakistan was one of the top three countries which handled the pandemic the best. This was in The Economist. And Timothy Geithner, who was the U.S. Treasury Secretary for President Obama, he said if we had followed, if the U.S. had followed Imran Khan's strategy on the smart lockdown during the pandemic, the U.S. would have saved $10 trillion. So he saved the country, both lives and livelihoods. He raised the economy to 6% growth, but it drove the generals crazy because never in the history of Pakistan has a civilian leader gotten the kind of support that he has, not only in Pakistan, which is 250 million people, but in the diaspora, including 1 million Pakistani Americans. Now, those 1 million Pakistani Americans who I represent as one, we all voted for President Trump on the 5th of November because we kept saying to the Biden administration that this is crazy. This man was toppled for no reason at all. He's not anti-American, and you went along with it, meaning the Biden administration went along with his toppling because his army chief threw him under the bus. So the Trump administration during the transition, Jeff, they have come out big. I don't know if anybody's done this before. On Christmas Day, Richard Grenell said, "Free Imran Khan now." President Trump and Prime Minister Imran Khan saw eye to eye. That's the Pakistan-U.S. relationship we need now. And just like what Ryan said, so many other people are saying, that, release him from prison. He's in a death cell. I'll just stop right there.
So, yeah, that's fascinating, and actually, what you're talking about makes me also think about Ali Bhutto, which I think Imran Khan actually said that is what they were setting him up for, to go to prison and then be killed, and then of course his.
So,
daughter
how does the
also.
fact that Trump is back in office impact or potentially impact Khan's plight?
So,
And also bring up the fact that there were these hearings in the Congress on January 22nd. Yeah.
yeah. So, Jeff, that's a key question. Everything that happens in the United States impacts Pakistan, right, in a huge way. So, when we had President Trump, the 45th president, U.S. and Pakistan were getting along on everything. Like, there was a great, like a, uh, uh, between Prime Minister Imran Khan and there was a great chemistry between Trump and Khan, and he was helping, to sort out the Taliban's situation with Ambassador Zalmay Khalilzad. He was instrumental in bringing the Taliban to Qatar for the talks, for the exit. All of that was working out, but the snag came when Trump lost the election. Now, this was the like I previously said, that the army chief saw this as his move to tell the Biden administration that this guy is anti-American and he is pro-Taliban and he cannot work with you, which Biden and their militarized plans of Ukraine, he threw his prime minister under the bus. Your question that how does Trump impact Pakistan? Well, but Imran Khan's going to face all his cases on his own. Trump is not going to do anything there. He has the support of the entire country with him, but with the U.S. saying that we want all bogus cases removed, we want all political prisoners removed, released. Uh, the Pakistani army chief is then basically backs against the wall. And this is the danger to Imran Khan's life, as Ryan just said, because they have assassinated Benazir Bhutto, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. So many Pakistani civilian leaders have either been assassinated or, exiled. And Imran Khan said, "I will never leave the country. I'll stay in this jail until I'm proven innocent." So the next 2 weeks, as now this administration has come in, the Trump administration, the next 2 weeks are very crucial, Jeff.
Have anything been said or done in the Trump administration that leads you to either be optimistic or pessimistic or somewhere in between?
Well, during the transition, everybody, including Richard Grenell, who is the presidential envoy for secret missions, he is echoing what President Trump says: "Free Imran Khan." The co-chair of the Pakistan caucus, congressional caucus, Jack Bergman, "Free Imran Khan." Congressman Joe Wilson, "Free Imran." I mean, on 22nd of January, there was a briefing which I was present at in Washington D.C., Jeff, where Greg Casar, he's a Democrat, and five or six other Republicans and Democrats said that in Pakistan we want to work with a democratically elected leader, not with the military. We want rule of law, freedom of expression. You know, the internet is turned off. X doesn't work in Pakistan. You have to use a VPN to get it. And we want, the immediate, for gross violations of human rights to cease immediately. And that is really what Imran Khan's not saying, "I want to be prime minister." He's saying, whatever values that the West has, the United States has, democracy, human rights, rule of law. We just want the same freedoms here in Pakistan. We don't want our army to treat us like, they're colonial. It's like before it was the British, but after the British, it
Right.
became a brown colonial force for
Well, I
the
don't know if the
last.
director of national intelligence has much influence in this regard, but since Jose was at that confirmation hearing today, let's talk about that. And please hang out with us if you have the time.
Yeah, you might have some things
'cause-
to say because I think you're talking about the military dictatorship, and one more little thing to segue to what Jose can talk about. This fellow Asan Iqbal said that Trump, Modi, and Imran Khan are made from the same mold. And it's an attack. It's a hostile attack. And it's interesting because in the spiritual democracy, you said that Pakistan could, in fact, be a bridge between the U.S. and China, U.S., Russia. So I think what Jose might have seen today.
All right.
Well, Ryan,
Well,
just
I know one
quickly,
thing he's. Go ahead.
this guy, so Jeff, this guy that Ryan just read the tweet off, he is sitting governed this Ehsan Iqbal. He's a minister of this current government in Pakistan, and not only him, multiple multiple ministers in the current government have ridiculed President Trump. Openly ridiculed him, that him and Imran Khan are the same deal.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. Well, one thing I know is that the room was packed with Tulsi's supporters, and it ended like this. But let's hear from Jose. How you doing, Jose? What was it like to be in the room today, and how the hell did you get in anyway? Did you
That's
show a little
right.
cleavage or something, or what? You batted your
I,
eyelashes
it
seductively?
was a 2-day odyssey. Yesterday I went down thinking I was going to come back up the same day. I left at 5 in the morning to be down there. The Kennedy hearings were going on. I wasn't too interested in the Kennedy hearings, no offense. But I did party with Maha later that night. They had some party in DC. I'm sorry I'm not in my usual setup.
It looks good. It looks good. It looks better.
Does it actually?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, all right. I'll think about it. Then maybe I'll make this my permanent place then. Anyway, I got to party with Maha, and I got a Make America Healthy Again hat and a Make America Healthy Again scarf. I got a Make America Healthy Again water bottle. Now, I must admit, the Maha party, I know I'm supposed to be talking about Tulsi Gabbard. I'll get there in a second.
I was going to say, did you use that to get into the Tulsi Gabbard hearing? It's like, look,
No.
I'm Maha, so therefore
Maha wasn't really Maha in last night because they had like mac and cheese and prime rib for free and
No, there's a cheat day. You're allowed one cheat day.
Oh,
That's
is
the
that
deal.
it? Is that anyway? I was down there yesterday because I was out lobbying. I went to every senator's office and I pleaded with the aides and the staff. Here's the liars. We were giving out Dennis Kucinich's statement that he wrote in support of Tulsi Gabbard, and on top of the thing that I reported last week and other things. So there we are. We're going around and around, giving around the Kucinich statement. whatnot. The Kennedy hearings are going on, and like we walked into Lindsey Graham's office, and like his office, like all his staff are just like perfect molded Barbie dolls that don't know what to do when real people walk in. They were all like, uh, and they started tripping over things when I was being very impassioned. Like, you need to get this to whoever's advising Senator Graham on advisory, judicial, intel committee, whatever. So the reason I stayed was because some Kennedy people stayed overnight, and generously I was able to obtain a means of staying overnight. Because if you want to be in the Senate hearing, people who wanted to go to the Kennedy hearing yesterday had to wait in line from 6 in the morning. So I
Wow.
said,
Ooh.
okay, well, if I want to get into a hearing, I got to do that. Now, I'm not going to lie, I have to atone for my sin. I got there at 8 a.m. The line was pretty big. I just cut. I don't care. I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
care.
but you're cutting for a good cause.
Yeah. You know what? And actually, this is a direct message to you, Patrick Bateman. You know who the hell you are. You called me out. You said this is why you lost, because you cut. You're a real man of the people. That's what he told me. He said
So
you're a real man of the people. That's why you lost.
Sal, Jose ran for Congress in the Bronx.
Okay.
And he ran against one of those Obama Biden guys that was really much in bed with the war party when it comes to Russia and so forth.
So anyway, there I am. I get the way you get, look. These Senate hearings are public. People need to know this, right? They are public. They're open to the public. As long as there's room in there, you're welcome to come in. I cut in line. Consider this my atonement, my penance for admitting my sin. I've confessed. I cut. Don't care. I came from New York. Somehow finagled my way into
From the Bronx. I mean, literally, that is what you have to do in the Bronx just to survive.
So I there I am, and I somehow got into the VIP section. I think in that video, maybe you can see me. I mean, that was the VIP. That was like where Tulsi's family was and stuff. And somehow I got to sit 2 rows behind, like, her sister and stuff. And yeah, there you go. Maybe now you can't see me. You can't see me, but I'm somewhere in.
But that's the VIP section there.
That's the VIP. Yeah, right next to Tulsi. Yeah,
Somebody's somebody's hugging her, so it
her
must
husband.
be.
Her husband's hugging her. But yeah. So anyway, now let me tell you some things the cameras won't show you. So,
Yep.
you know who was there? Meghan McCain.
Oh yeah, she made a big splash on social media, making a big deal out of her support for Tulsi.
Well, she was there in person, and I was honestly like, damn, what am I doing here? I mean, this fucking neocon is here. But that's not why we do it. It's not why we do it. It's not why we do it. And then Pam Bondi showed up also.
Right.
She was there to support. Now, one of the holdouts on the Republican side, this guy's name is Todd Young. Now, did you guys watch the hearings?
I was
Some
watching
of it was hard
some
to
of
follow because they were happening simultaneously with the Kash Patel hearing, so it was very difficult. But I saw bits and pieces of everything.
The most important thing from the Tulsi Gabbard here, well, actually, let me work it up. Like, every single senator was just like, so you think Edward Snowden's a traitor and should rot in prison, right? And she's like, well, he broke the law, but his documents revealed some real genuine, and they would cut her off every time. And it got to the point where there was this senator named Senator Bennett who was like, Miss Gabbard, I'm really tired with you.
Actually, I have a clip. I have a clip of Bennett. Let's play.
Okay.
You believe, as the chairman of this committee believes, as the vast majority of members of our intelligence agencies believe, that Edward Snowden was a traitor to the United States of America.
Senator, if confirmed as
This is when the
Director of
rubber hits
National
the road.
Intelligence,
This is
I
when-
will
this is
work
not-
with you to make sure
This
that
is
there is
not
not
a
another
moment for
Snowden-like
social
leak.
media. It's not a moment to
As he put it on social media.
theories, conspiracy theories, or attacks on journalism in the United States. This is when you need to answer the questions of the people whose votes you're asking for to be confirmed as the chief intelligence officer of this nation. As my colleague said, this is not about you. It's about the people that serve the intelligence
It's clearly not about her. It's about him.
of the United States. Is Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America? That is not a hard question to answer when the stakes are this high.
It's hard if you never shut up.
Senator, as someone who has
your
served
answer,
in
yes
uniform,
or no, is
Everything.
Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America?
I really had to bite my
as
tongue.
someone who has
I'll go on
worn
to
our
my
uniform
questions.
in
This
combat,
this-
I understand how critical our national security
Apparently
is.
you don't. Apparently you don't. Let me ask you. I've worked.
A colossal asshole among some routine assholes.
So
Jesus.
I was there when that happened, and I look. It took everything. I don't know why. Maybe in hindsight, I probably should have. Everyone in the room wanted to punch that guy in the face. Every single person wanted to just like rip into that asshole. Nobody liked that guy at all. I mean, all the like the and the uhs and like the shut ups. You know, you couldn't pick that up on TV, but that was what was going on in the room. And
Yeah,
I was
well, that's
about
good.
to stand up and just say like, "Give me a fucking break," but I thought that look,
Well, there's a lifetime ahead of us to torment that guy.
oh fuck that guy.
Sal, let me ask you. I mean, thinking about Pakistan, how would people, look at it over there, given what we've been talking about, and
Well,
what you're saying?
yeah, right. Interesting. I mean, that was tough questioning, but have you seen Oliver Stone's JFK?
Oh
Yes.
yes.
Right. So that what happened with JFK and the result, the cover up and the conspiracy, that is where Pakistan is right now. All right. If you see that movie and you see how the judicial system works, the intelligence community works, the mafia cartels, that's where Pakistan is right now. In the US, I mean, obviously you guys, you know, you have to pick a side and you have to criticize the other, but it's much more gentlemanly, I would say. But because, look, when President Trump, that assassination attempt took place on July 13th, there was a hearing, and that was a pretty stiff. I mean, there was a colossal intelligence failure. But you saw on people, Americans could see on television, somebody's going to be held responsible for that. It's not going to be, brushed underneath the carpet. So Pakistan is where 1963, the open car assassination of JFK. I was, by the way, in two of the assassination attempts, I was with Prime Minister Imran Khan. We escaped with our lives. He was shot in the multiple times, but he survived. We were in a helicopter where the helicopter engines had failed. Somebody had tampered with the fuel. So right now we are where the U.S. That deep state was back in 1963.
Jose only gets beaten up by security guards, so that's nothing compared to getting shot. Stop crying, Jose. So I have another clip I want to show that Tulsi basically exposed Obama for his role in partnering with Al Qaeda.
That was the best part. Timber Sycamore.
Let's see it.
Play.
Do I know how to pick highlights or not, Jose?
Yes,
No, I'm not as dumb.
Timber Sycamore. Play it, Sam.
As someone who enlisted in the military specifically because of Al-Qaeda's terrorist attack on 9/11 and committing myself and my life to doing what I could to defeat these terrorists, it was shocking and a betrayal to me and every person who was killed on 9/11, their families and my brothers and sisters in uniform. When, as a member of Congress, I learned about President Obama's dual programs that he had begun really to overthrow the regime of Syria, and being willing to, through the CIA's Timber Sycamore program that has now been made public, of working with and arming and equipping Al-Qaeda in an effort to overthrow that regime, starting yet another regime change war in the Middle East. DoD Train and Equip program, again, begun under President Obama, is widely been known, looked at, and studied, that ultimately resulted in over $500 million being used to train who they called moderate rebels, but were actually fighters working with and aligned with Al-Qaeda's affiliate on the ground in Syria, all to move forward with their regime change and not acknowledging what was obvious at the time and what has unfortunately borne true, which was that a regime change war in Syria, much like the regime change wars in Iraq, the toppling of Gaddafi and Mubarak, while these are all dictators, would likely result in the rise of Islamist extremists like Al-Qaeda taking power. I shed no tears for the fall of the Assad regime, but today we have an Islamist extremist who is now in charge of Syria, as I said, who danced on the streets to celebrate the 9/11 attack, who ruled over Idlib with an Islamist extremist governance, and who has already begun to persecute and kill and arrest religious minorities like Christians in Syria.
I understand.
Why that should be acceptable to anyone is beyond me.
Bam.
It
Shouldn't
is
be.
certainly
And I
not in our
understand.
interest.
Smackdown.
Well, who was questioning her? They let her speak. That was
Somebody did.
noteworthy.
Now, I
You
would just like to
remember
take a
who was
second.
questioning?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Jose. Do you know who was questioning her at that point?
Yeah, that was it was actually a Republican. I think it was because this was no, it was a Democrat. It was in the follow up. It was not Wyden. It was the guy next to Wyden. I don't remember his name.
Okay.
Some white senator, which I hope
Why
narrows
another
down.
asshole.
But I think this would be a good point. Again, I
Wyden
want you
wasn't
to.
that bad actually. I heard that, but
Really?
Wyden was actually on Tulsi's side on this one because
Oh, okay. Oh,
he
good.
said to her, there's a loophole in FISA 702. I actually don't like that. Would you
That's
look
right.
into closing that loophole with me? And she's like, well, I got to be DNI.
This is about using allowing wiretapping if you turn on your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Actually, which she said I got to investigate it, but he was for that. Now, I think this is a good point, perfect point, because again, going back to Sal, the discussions we've been having. I was thinking about Benazir Bhutto. She had been on a phone call with Condoleezza Rice in the Bush administration, and then after that, she comes back and is then killed at some time after. But now, I think this is important. The Islam that you have been talking about and what Tulsi there is warning about, like the guy from ISIS who's now running Syria, this is very different, right?
So Ryan, thank you for bringing that out. I think that's really, really important to understand. There's guys, when she says the word Islamist extremist, I don't know what she's talking about because people in the world are either extremists, moderates, or conservatives, right? But you don't say Hindu extremist, Hindu moderate, or so.
Well, but
Benazir
like
Bhutto-
for example, this guy in ISIS who's now running Syria
Yeah.
would be what she is calling an extremist, for example.
And here in the U.S., they do. They would say something like, "This person is a right-wing extremist or whatever, a left-wing extremist."
No,
They
but
do
Jeff,
characterize people.
understand why words matter, and
Okay.
I'll explain that.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm saying it's not like it's people don't also say it in reference to other people.
Well, Ryan, to Ryan's question about Benazir Bhutto, right? Now, she is an Islamist Muslim woman, the first ever Muslim woman elected to being prime minister, right? Elected by her 99% majority Islamist Muslim constituency. So, what that shows you is that people in the Muslim world recognize leadership, whether it's male, female, good and bad, right? But when you do a blank, that's happened after 9/11. When you call a terrorist who happens to be Muslim an Islamist extremist or an Islamofascist, this is what Bush used, you are then alienating the majority of the people who say, wait a minute, man. My religion doesn't teach me to go fly planes into buildings. That's the reason why Ryan, the films and the books and the music that I've written, and even the word using the J word, jihad, was to explain. Do you know what jihad means? It's not it's a word which means struggle to overcome your ego, and in the very extreme to protect your own faith. You can you can wage a war, which is also a jihad. But if you let Osama bin Laden hijack jihad, just like Charlie Manson hijacked Helter Skelter, the Beatles song Helter Skelter, and he said this is going to be a race war. We're going to do Helter Skelter. If you allow people, crazy people, extremists, to radicals to hijack vocabulary, then the space for us gets less and less. That's what I
Right.
was saying.
All
Right,
right,
right.
I got it. So, Jose, what do you think? You said that was your favorite part of the hearing. Does Sal have a point about use of that term, Islamist
Well,
extremist?
that's the biggest criticism I hear about Tulsi all the time. Look, I just want to make something clear. I'm not a Tulsi fan. You're not going to see me walking around with like a Tulsi Gabbard 28 hat. Well, maybe never say never, but
How about a
you know,
streak
I mean,
of
you were a
silver
Bernie
hair?
bro,
That's
and
what I was
I
going to say.
supported Kennedy, so you know, you never know. Change happens.
look, you know, I'm not going to talk about your
You'd
support.
look good with a streak of silver hair on the side, just like she has, I think.
Me, yeah, and like solidarity for. You know what's so funny?
But hold on a second, Jose. You were saying with Bernie Sanders, for example, when you were chasing him down the other day, you were saying, aren't you? You're going to vote to support putting her in power and also Kash Patel. So even though you're not like a cheerleader, you do recognize that there is benefit to what they can do to clean out this deep state we're talking about, right?
it's yes, and it's a different era we're in under this Trump administration. Because to be honest with you, like shit, at least now I know who's in charge. You know, now at least Trump, you know, with his many flaws, at least I know he's calling some shots, right? Whereas before with Biden, I have no idea who I had to appeal to in any way. Right now things are different. Now it's a whole different ballpark. You know, things are being redefined, and we can actually go back to like a style of FDR activism or activist politics. You know, like under the FDR presidency, the citizenry actually had power to move the presidency, and that's where we are now. Now, look on what you brought up about Tulsi. What I thought, you know, I thought the fact that she just put out on display Timber Sycamore like that, you know, on like the largest public ever,
CIA funded operation.
yeah, that America funded Al Qaeda, that might be the reason why she doesn't get confirmed. She has to pay the price for that. That is just something, you know, even though it's public, like the fact that, you know, oh great, I have cousins in Arizona. I'll come out there.
My whole family's in Arizona.
But like I thought that was great, and I think that we need more of that. And I think she was willing to pay the price. And I don't, you know, look, I walked into that hearing. I made a video a couple days ago where I said Tulsi Gabbard should be DNI, and I got so much pushback from it. A lot. Like my base that I built up was like, no, she's a Zionist. She's bought. She's control corrupt. You don't think I know what idiotic things she said about Israel and other things? You think I'm stupid? You think I don't have an open mind? I walked into that hearing fully expecting her to completely bend the knee, say whatever the hell the senators wanted her to say so that she would get nominated, and she stuck her ground. All right.
Right. And she wouldn't say that Snowden is a traitor either.
Exactly.
Yeah, even he did say that
He encouraged her to just say what they want to say. He encouraged her. He was like,
he said basically throw me under the bus if you have to get the position.
Yeah, and
this was his tweet before the testimony, and this was his tweet afterwards.
I know. It's insane. It's insane. And I was really, honestly, I was very proud of what Tulsi had done there. Because look, you have to see it from the outside perspective, and from my fellow leftist friends who I love dearly. They look at it like, well, unless you're 100% always on principle, you're bad. And, you know, look, I'm not saying that I agree with what Tulsi Gabbard's method is or what these people, because they are playing the game, right? Look, she's thinking like other people do, and this is a disgusting way of thinking, and I don't advocate for this, that, if I get elected, if I get nominated, it's better to have power than to posture that I have principle, because I can say I'm moral and principle, and I can tell the truth all I want, but that's not going to give me power to actually change things. That's what she's thinking. I disagree with that thinking. There's more nuance to this.
Well, it's the pragmatism that you might be referring to there. I just want to bring this up because Alicia, she got my question to Sal, and the point was she's just saying that nobody's understanding you, Sal, about blanket blaming of a religion. That's important because, again, I don't think that that's what Tulsi was actually doing in the hearing. I'm not suggesting that that's what she was doing, even if she used that language. What I'm simply saying is that exactly as she's saying, Alicia is saying, Sal, what you have been promoting in your Sufi rock and in your spiritual democracy, for example, and some of the other work that you've been doing is completely different from those like bin Laden, etc., who hijacked, and also not just him, also the neocons, the people that worked for Bush that then came into the Obama administration. Remember, Obama had more targeted assassinations of any president in the history of the United States. And then while Trump, said that he did not start any wars, he didn't exactly stop sending weapons out. But then when Biden came in, we got into more wars. And everything is, Russians bad, China's bad, Iran's bad, Muslims bad. Everybody's bad except, this unipolar world, essentially. So my whole point to you, Sal, was that you, and this is why I find it interesting that the Trump administration is so open to Imran Khan, and that you got your invitation to the inauguration when those others in power in Pakistan did not get that, as you were telling me in the story, that there are people who are Muslim who have no tie to that, as you said, craziness. So there's the basis for an actual bridge, is what I'm saying.
So Ryan, to your point, just to let your viewers know, and Jose, I'm not, you see what happens is that we say things about other cultures not knowing how it's perceived there. And I guess because you guys brought me onto this show, it's important that I just bring out that look, Pakistan, I'm not some anomaly in the sense that the sort of spirituality I follow about moderation and unity is I'm some minority. I'm the majority, okay? But what happened? When the Soviets came into Afghanistan in the 70s?
Yeah.
Well, if you see the movie Charlie Wilson's War, okay, it's a great movie. Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts and Philip Seymour Hoffman. You see the freedom fighters who were fighting the Soviets, who basically defeated the Soviets. They were on the front lines. They were being told this extremist strand, which is called Wahhabism, which was from Saudi Arabia, had nothing to do with Pakistan. Nothing to do with Pakistan. That's what Osama bin Laden.
Exactly.
So that Wahhabism was superimposed as these are our freedom fighters, and this is the kind of faith we have. It had nothing to do with Pakistan. What was now, because it was being funded by the CIA, that drug culture, the Kalashnikov culture, I write about in my book.
Clash of civilizations, right?
No, the Kalashnikov is the gun.
Yeah.
Right?
I have one behind me.
Right, right. And the heroin culture that trickled into Pakistan because of that war. The entire Pakistan culture was taken over by this crazy superimposed strain of Wahhabism, which Osama bin Laden spoke about. And guess what? They were called freedom fighters then, Mujahideen, right?
Right.
And then when the Soviets were defeated, they became the terrorists, the Islamic extremists. So I'm saying we need to get the right vocabulary so that people don't
Right.
look at every guy who has my name, Ahmad.
No, I think it's a valid point, and I just want to say that I don't know what Alicia meant by "we're not understanding you." I agree. I didn't explicitly say I.
No.
agree, but
Don't worry about it.
I'm defensive.
Okay.
I certainly didn't say I disagree. I said I turned to Jose and I said, "What do you think? Does he have a valid point?" I don't know why that would leave her with the impression that I don't understand. But listen, we have another person on hold, and then after that, if you guys are up for it, let's try to pick up the pace and get through a couple of the other nominees too. JFK and Kash Patel also had hearings.
Sal, you okay? Or
So
do you need?
I had the hour. I think it's
Yes.
gone over the hour, right?
No, no,
So
I know you're right. You're right, Sal. I thanks for joining us. I very much
Well, we
appreciate.
understand. Yeah, just know you're welcome to stay if you have
You're
time. but we
welcome to
understand,
stay,
yeah,
but
yeah.
if you have to leave, that is totally good. We probably have a lot more to talk about, and I did put in some of the chats your video 4-part series, and also I let people know to where they find your music, and also again, this is. Your 501c3, your foundation, the Salman and Samina Global Wellness Initiative. And are you doing a concert sometime soon?
yeah, Ryan, and I wanted to thank you all, Jeff, Ryan, Jose. Great to meet you
Great meeting
virtually.
you.
Yeah, if you can be in Toronto, May 11th, Junoon is performing, man. You can see, Sufi rock in action. Um, I can get you backstage passes as well.
Uh-oh.
All right.
So
He
May
noticed he
11th.
didn't
Toronto.
offer to introduce me to a Chinese spy, but we'll talk about that in person.
Toronto, May 11th. That's when Junoon will be speaking. All right. Well, great. Well, again, so that might, you'll go from 30 million records to 40 or 50 million records. So, Sal, thank you very much for joining us. And
Thank you very
have a
much.
good
You were a
evening.
great guest. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Ryan.
You,
Bye,
you're
Jose.
welcome anytime.
Nice meeting
All
you.
right.
I followed you on X. Follow me back.
Okay, we'll do, man. You got it. And look,
All right.
next time when you go campaigning, take me. I'll get you the South Asian vote.
Don't lie
Ooh.
to me, because I
I
got a lot
won't.
of those here.
He's
It's here.
vulnerable. Yeah.
But you gotta promise me that we'll go to Tulsi Gabbard and say, hey, man, you gotta change the word slightly. Just find better words.
What would be the
Okay.
best word in this one case? Before you go, what's the best word she could have used?
Well, depending on who the person is, for example, like in the Tamil Tigers, they didn't say Hindu extreme, and they were suicide
Just don't say
bombers.
extremist. How about that?
No, just don't the name
Or
take
don't
the
even
name of their
identify the
religion.
ethnicity. How about that? Yeah.
The religion and ethnicity is
Ah,
it's hurtful. Yeah, you
yeah.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, for example, African Americans. You don't use those kind of strange words, right? That
Right.
people used to use before, or
No, I get
or
it. It's not even necessary to identify people that way.
if somebody's a
Thanks.
terrorist, he's a terrorist, whether they're black, white, yellow,
Yeah,
green.
yeah, yeah.
They're a terrorist.
Absolutely.
Like for years, my white friends have, and I've been sensitive to this. I think it's a similar thing. Have been saying stuff like, "Well, I work with this black guy or something," and they tell a story, and it's like, "Well, why did you say he's a black guy? You wouldn't say."
Right.
He was a white guy or something. It's like
I do
nothing
say
do
to
with the
people,
story.
Jeff,
Yeah.
that you're my Jewish friend. But anyhow, Sal, please, if you get a chance to speak with Imran Khan, I don't know if you've spoken to him since he's been in prison or if he is totally cut off from the world, but we support that effort to get him free.
Thank you so much, and all of you, that freeing Imran Khan would really help 250 million people in Pakistan, 1 million Pakistani Americans, bring the U.S. and Pakistan closer together.
All righty. Thank you very
All
much,
right,
Sal. You have a good evening, and thank you very much for your time.
Take care, Sal.
Sayun.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Nice, man.
All right.
Let's take
Yeah.
a phone call. Jose, you got some time, and then we'll talk about the JFK and the Kash
Yeah.
Patel hearing too. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll take the phone call after that. I'm losing gas here. I've been up since like 4 in the morning.
Come on,
Oh,
you're
all
a
right.
young kid. You got to
Okay,
be
all
able.
right, all right. That's all
No,
you-
it's okay. It's all right.
No,
It's
no,
all
no,
right.
it's
all right.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm teasing.
John in South Carolina. I don't know if you wanted to talk to our guest, but he's gone now. You want to talk to us?
I can.
Yes, I certainly do, Jeff. It was very nice to meet your fellow here from Pakistan. I would just like to mention that the big boss and I watched today the hearings for Tulsi Gabbard. And
You
I
mean
had
your
to take
wife?
A few blood. Yes, yes, the big boss. I had to take a few blood pressure pills regarding Edward Snowden. I don't believe that if you sign the Official Secrets Act, that this prevents you from keeping quiet about crimes that you have observed. I believe that the Constitution supersedes your, requirement to keep quiet because you signed a paper to that.
I think that's a
Going to
fair
the,
argument.
And then going to this business about receiving a pardon, I believe that the U.S. government does not want to issue a pardon because they want to keep Snowden in Russia, where he is away from U.S. courts. Because, as you know, if he received a pardon, there's nothing they could do to him except bring him before the Congress and question him. And, of course, they don't want him to say, well, this is why I had to spill the beans on the government, because no one was listening to me. So the best thing to do right now is to keep him over there. And you heard the one senator complaining that all Snowden does is every day have a briefing with President Putin. The whole thing is just absolutely sickening and insane. I don't know if anybody else sees it like this, but I
think that's a reasonable take on it. But
unacceptable.
Has anybody from the Trump administration, whether Trump himself or somebody close to him, said anything about the possibility of pardoning Snowden? Jose is nodding his head like he knows something about this.
I do.
It's been put to him by Judge Knapp, as far
Right.
as I know.
Been put to who?
You mean to President Trump? You're saying that's been put to him, John?
Yes.
Jeff, you're pumping
And if he
wine over
acted
there,
on it,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Why does it look naughty?
It sounds and looks.
Sorry.
All right. He says, I don't know. Well, Jose, you had something to say on this. Why don't you take that?
Yes, I did. So Dave Smith in 2024, 2-3 months before the election, Dave Smith said, "Do you promise to pardon Julian Assange and Snowden?" And Trump's response was, "It's something I've been looking into. Yeah, I think I would be amenable to this. Yeah." And then he quickly changed the subject. This is something that I know a lot of libertarians have been putting pressure on Trump. And the person who told him not to pardon Assange and Snowden was Mike Pompeo. I think he said that straight up, that Mike Pompeo told him not to do it. And now Mike Pompeo got a security clearance.
Exactly.
Revoked. So, frankly,
It's a brand new day. Yeah.
He and General Milley got their security clearances pulled. So,
all right. Thanks for the call, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
All right. Take care. Love you. Hey, Jose, your impression of Trump is not nearly as good as your impression of Bernie Sanders.
I can do a better Trump. I think it's like something with the mouth. It's like, we're going to ban all the Mexicans. We're going to get rid of them.
Getting better. I want to hear you talk about onesies as Bernie Sanders. Let's take a look at Bernie Sanders' spectacular moment when he made a big issue out of onesies that were being marketed by a company that RFK, has nothing to do with
Children's Defense Fund. Yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't seem to matter to Bernie that he's not even involved anymore.
I think the gist of what you're trying to say today is you're really pro-vaccine, you want to ask questions. You have started a group called the Children's Health Defense. You're the originator. Right now, as I understand it, on their website, they are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way. Next one is no vax, no problem. Now you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine,
He's about to
that
fall
you're going to
off
have
the
your
chair.
organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will
vaccines.
not tell the organization you founded not to continue
Now-
selling that product. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Now, hold on a second here. Now, you know why he knows
I
how
think
much
the
it. The reason he knows how much it costs is because he actually.
God.
No, no,
Oh
no.
my God, I can't erase that from my mind.
What he there it is. There it is. That's why he knows how much it is. He got the triple extra large. And so now when he throws his fits in public, that's what he's going to do. Is he's going to wear his onesie.
Oh my God.
This is Bernie Sanders now speaking up against the oligarchs. He expects a guy who's on the verge of becoming the Director of Health and Human Services to wage a campaign against a company he's no longer involved with to stop them from selling a onesie. This guy, and you used to like this guy, right, Jose?
hey, I was stupid once. I'm still stupid, but
This guy.
Oh man. Oh man.
put it that way. Yeah. I grew up.
I mean, I don't even know if he can wear that in the post DEI world. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe only to his parties.
Yeah.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
That was quick.
Take a position. Are you or are you not supportive of these onesies?
These onesies, right here. These onesies.
Or another way of asking the question is, do these onesies have enough support? Looks like they do. You may not have all that much to support, but that's another issue.
Anyway.
All right. Let's look at that.
Jose, if you need to take off, it's quite all right. We're going to continue here.
Yeah, I will give. It's better that you get no content than bad content from me.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Otherwise,
fair
I'm gonna
enough.
just do
thanks for getting your way into the Tulsi event and talking about some of that with us.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem. Is there
All right,
anything
you need
else
your
I want to share? No.
Are you going to be wearing a onesie when you go to bed now to go to sleep? Or,
Like this. Are you going to wear one like that?
So, remember in I Love Lucy, the Fred Mertz like nightgown with the cap.
Oh yeah, Jose.
All right. Well, thank you. I will be much higher energy next week. I promise.
No,
All right.
no need to apologize. You did
good.
good work. Thanks,
Thanks.
Jose. Take care.
Talk to you later, Jose. All right, so
hopefully he'll take a selfie of him in a onesie. Let's pick up the pace just to get through this. We have a couple more
Let's do it.
video clips of JFK and also from the Cash Patel hearing. I didn't even watch any of today's JFK hearing, but I have a couple.
It was
clips
yesterday was the big day for sure.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, so Michael, who is this? What am I looking at here? Let me just make sure. No. The death camps. Who is the guy who talked about the Nazi?
That was from Georgia. That was
Warnock.
Yeah,
Senator Warnock. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kennedy, you have compared the CDC's work to Nazi death camps. You've compared it to sexual abusers in the Catholic Church. You've also said that many of them belong, this is a direct quote, many of them belong in jail. For me, those are disturbing characterizations of the CDC workers that I know who are trying to keep the American public safe every single day. And as you are presented as the nominee for this position, I need to know, do you stand by those statements that you made in the past, or do you retract those previous statements?
Senator, I don't believe that I ever compared the CDC to Nazi death camps. I support the CDC. My job is not to dismantle or harm the CDC. My job is to empower the scientists if I'm privileged to be confirmed.
So you retract those statements?
I'm not retracting it. I never said it.
Well, actually, I have a transcript
Of me saying that it's a Nazi death camp?
Yeah, let me read your words. It says that the institution CDC and the vaccine program, is your description of their work, is more important than the children that it's supposed to protect. And it's the same reason we had a pedophile scandal in the Catholic Church. It's because people were able to convince themselves that the institution of the church was more important than these little boys and girls who were being raped. That's pretty provocative language. You said in another statement to me, this is like Nazi death camp. I mean, let me finish. I'm just reading your words. I mean, what happened to these kids? 1 in 31 boys in this country, their minds are being robbed from them.
Yeah, I was not comparing the CDC to Nazi death camps. I was comparing the injury rate to our children to other atrocities. And I wouldn't compare, of course, the CDC to Nazi death camps to the extent that any statement that I made has been interpreted that way. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. You know what I liked is when they would do this, yes, no, say it's yes or no, extended applause.
It's so obnoxious.
No, but then what he said, I can't answer that honestly with yes or no.
Right.
So, but he's had the best retort on that of anybody ever that I've ever seen. He refuses to do that because it's a dishonest answer. It's fantastic.
All right, you ready for his best moment? Excuse me. You ready for RFK's best moment?
Jeff, I want to see it. Bring it.
All right. At least
It's
his
the
best
best.
moment with Bernie Sanders.
No, this is the best moment of the entire hearing right here.
Or the best moment in life ever. No,
Ever.
Let's not build it up too much. This was clearly his best moment with Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
And
protecting their interests.
I thought that would go. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money.
Contributions from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the
not a nickel from corporate tax.
You were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered. Last question.
Yeah.
Let's
was
leave
key.
that quote on the screen for a while because Bernie deserves it.
Oh, no. That was the key thing. So all that time he was, yes, Senator, and then he brought down the hammer. Bernie, you have accepted millions of dollars from pharmaceutical industries. Oh, feel the burn? You feel the burn? That was beautiful.
That was a delicious moment. All right, Kash Patel. Let's finish with Kash Patel. Schiff head, full of Schiff.
Oh, lots of it.
Posted this on his X feed today. Apparently.
Which, by the way, that's why they did this, was just so that they could post it. It's not because they were actually interested in a confirmation.
Well, the fact he posted it suggests he thinks he looked good here. I don't know that I would agree with Schiffhead, but anyway.
Let's see. I don't know.
Being considered for director of the FBI, and here you did no diligence to find out whether people you were associating with now the President of the United States in song were convicted of attacking police officers. Is that who we want running the FBI? I want you to turn around. There are Capitol Police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
No, look at them. I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're
See, that's a new one. The whole, yes or no thing they all do. He came up with a new one, and I don't know why he thinks he looks good when he tries to get Kash Patel to do it, but the Kash Patel doesn't do it. But Schiff posted this like he thinks he looks good because he made some ridiculous demand that Patel refused.
He wouldn't even look him in the eye.
Hold on.
Oh, wait. I thought you were.
Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it.
How
I've
proud-
never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women,
you didn't
as you
accept
know,
it. You
my entire
glorified
life.
it in song,
and I did
Mr.
not make
Patel.
a
Again, Schiff had posted this like he's proud.
Oh, yeah.
What they're referring to, for those of you who don't know, is there was some kind of song put out by the J6 prisoners, and Patel posted it. So that's what Schiff is all upset about. All right, another raging asshole is Blumenthal in Connecticut. I think both of the senators in Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut, and I keep telling my relatives there, you got to like straighten out everybody there.
Yeah. Well,
they are
Hartford or Stamford?
Can you put that into a complete?
What part of Connecticut are you from? Hartford?
Oh, I'm from the New Haven area.
New Haven. Okay.
Yeah. But here's Blumenthal, one of the two raging asshole senators from Connecticut.
You've committed that the FBI will not be politicized. So here's your first test. Will you commit that you will not tolerate the firing of the FBI agents who worked with the special counsel's office on these investigations?
Senator, I appreciate the time to visit with you.
It is a yes or no answer, and it is your first
I'll
test.
just say no.
Senator, every FBI employee will be held to the absolute same standard, and no one will be terminated for case assignments.
And I'm not going to accept that answer because
well, fuck you. Who cares?
If you can't commit that those FBI agents will be protected from political retribution, we can't accept you as FBI director.
All FBI employees will be protected against political retribution.
Those individuals deserve to be protected from Trump retribution. That was your first test. You failed it.
By saying all FBI employees should be protected?
I can't stand this guy. Sorry, I'm talking over. I just can't
No.
stand this guy.
It's so arrogant.
Before there's any investigation or any looking at evidence or anything, he wants them to commit that he's not going to prosecute somebody. Oh, what a
arrogant. Maybe they just all need to lose their security clearance. I mean, that's probably what has to happen. And an investigation, by the way. An investigation. I think there was somewhere else. I don't know if you have the clip, but they were talking about those law enforcement people that don't want him to be the director of the FBI. And then he said, "Well, there are 38,000, maybe 3,800 of these other type of law enforcement people that have endorsed him." So
let's not look at all the evidence. Let's look at only the evidence that supports our particular bias.
That's right.
I don't understand why these people think this works with anybody except dipshits. No, I don't have that clip, but I have another clip that I think is quite nice. This is Ted Cruz talking to Patel about an issue that's been in the news quite a lot, but mostly the fake news. And this is, who is responsible for the fact that there weren't enough National Guardsmen on duty on January 6th? And this is an interesting exchange.
What were you doing on that day?
On that day specifically, responding to, preparing to mobilize and deploy the National Guard once we got the lawful request from the local governing authority, which was the mayor of D.C. and the Speaker of the House.
Now, how many days in advance were you working to prepare the Department of Defense to help secure the Capitol on January 6th?
Days in advance, Senator. We were in the Oval Office on an unrelated national security matter with the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and myself. And the President authorized up to 20,000 plus National Guardsmen and women to secure any security measures necessary related to the Capitol. So we were moving to the fullest extent of the law before the requisite request came from a local governing authority days ahead of time.
Prepared.
And while you were Chief of Staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the sergeant at arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
That would have been Nancy Pelosi at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
And would that also be Chuck Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader?
The Sergeant at Arms, yes, Senator, reports up there.
Did Mayor Bowser, the Democrat elected mayor in D.C., either request or allow National Guard assistance?
She put in writing on the days leading up to January 6th a declination for National Guard additional support. And that letter is available publicly to the world.
And just to speak English for folks at home, a declination meant she said no, don't send National Guard. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I was
Let me ask you
Googling
a
that
simple
word.
question, because from the questioning from my Democrat colleagues, they might think otherwise. Do you condemn violence against law enforcement?
All of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of Ted Cruz. However, that was a very interesting exchange for sure.
Well, he's a good lawyer, and he knows how to question people when he comes off good whenever he's in the right. You know, he's not always in the right, but when he's in the right, he's very good at questioning people. Now, here's something that has been omitted from the story.
Well, you're talking about the same story, right?
Yeah. I want to just point out something that's been omitted from this story, which is that, you know how everybody says, well, the buck stops here, the president is in charge, and so forth and so on. But in reality, the president doesn't actually make decisions about every little thing. And what tends to be omitted from this controversy is that it's just not customary for the president to personally get involved in allocating, or ordering National Guardsmen to report to this emergency or that emergency. And it says that right on their website. Look at the part I highlighted. The authority is delegated by the president to the Secretary of Defense and further delegated to the Secretary of the Army. This is not something that was put up just when the Trump administration took over. This has been on their website for years. This is just the reality of how it works. So why would you expect Trump to do anything?
Yeah, that's...
And on top of that, he did. The acting Secretary of Defense at the time said that Trump encouraged him to get 10,000 National Guardsmen there. Was it 10,000 or 20,000? Whatever it was. I think it was 10,000. He encouraged him to do that.
So the other thing, though, is that it's clear that maybe things that happened on that day from that conversation anyway were set up to create this image of a, whatever they want to call it, a riot on the Capitol. Of course,
that's a fair term. It was a riot.
It was, yeah, but they called the word that they used it was an insurrection.
Oh yeah,
and of course the joke I've always said is, well, this was the worst insurrection. Nobody had any guns for the insurrection, but
or even a few people had guns. That doesn't mean that there's any organized attempt to take over the government, because out of the many, many tens of thousands of people in the area, a few of them had guns. That's not the same thing as a plan to take over the government. So I wouldn't even yield to that particular line of bullshit, because
I know, but you know how they add on then, policemen died. Well, that of course is not exactly accurate either. But if from what Kash Patel is saying, they were prepared, they said, hey, are you ready for National Guard to come in? And yet it was all done to stand down. They ordered them to not. And Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer are involved in basically with the mayor saying no, then that really changes the whole dynamic of what January 6th was. Yeah. So it was kind of this continual coup, and I keep thinking about what Scott Ritter said on last Friday, or maybe it was the Tuesday before, where he said, if you don't think that Butler, Pennsylvania was not the FBI, then I don't know, where you're coming from, what country you live in, or something like that. Right.
Which is why we need Kash Patel.
That's the point. That's the point. And they were getting all upset when he said, I'm going to shut down the FBI building or something like that. But this is actually the issue right there.
Right. All right, I have one more clip, and this is for everybody, but in particular, it's for people who think that AOC is the dumbest member of Congress. I would say that she is arguably the dumbest member of Congress. Arguably. It's not a crazy assertion. But there is one other person who I think might be even dumber. And I refer to Mazie Hirono from the great state of Hawaii, who consistently demonstrates how dumb she is. Let's take a look.
Mr. Patel, as part of my responsibility as a member of this committee, I asked the following two initial questions of all nominees before any of my committees. Since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator, I have not.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator, I have not.
Mr. Patel, you have been a champion of the January 6th prison choir. You have stated that the choir's members were, quote, incarcerated as a result of their involvement in the January 6, 2021 protest for election integrity, end quote. And one of the choir members is Julian Cater, who pled guilty. He pled guilty to assaulting officers with a deadly weapon. On January 6th, he attacked Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick with pepper spray, and the next day, Officer Sicknick suffered from 2 strokes and died. Mr. Patel, was Mr. Cater protesting for election integrity? Yes or no?
I don't know who that is.
I'm not asking you who that is. I'm asking you whether, having heard the description of what he pled to, whether he was protesting for election integrity, yes or no?
No, what's going on here? He says he doesn't know who the person is, but she still expects him to know what the guy's motive was. Somebody he doesn't know anything about, but she's so dumb. Oh, God, is she dumb? She is so dumb.
Oh,
I don't know who that is.
that
and
is not
statement-
responsive to my question. You're not willing
responsive.
to say that, but you were willing to describe this choir as consisting of.
And the other thing is, what she's saying isn't even that hard to memorize or anything, but she's reading a script. She is so stupid.
But then also what she basically says is he died from being pepper sprayed. And I remember this because this is the one police officer, Capitol Hill police officer, that died that day. And he got a blood clot. He died from natural causes, coincidentally happening at the same time. It had no relation to being pepper sprayed.
Yeah, they always fudge that detail, whereas there's no fudging that a veteran was shot by Capitol Police that day and killed. And the left usually is very, very sensitive about, or let's say they usually vehemently object to any kind of police force against demonstrators. But in this case, because it was a pro-Trump situation, they don't, even though they usually are vehemently opposed to any kind of slight police abuse, here just killing a demonstrator doesn't even, warrant a discussion.
People who were protesting for election integrity, and yet you testify you don't know them.
She's probably
We
from the
have
part of
heard
the
already-
island where the volcanoes are, and Tulsi's from where the civilized people are from.
I don't know. She's from the part of the island where they have no brain.
Their book includes a list of 60 people who you think make up part of the executive branch deep state. Mr. Patel, if confirmed, do you plan to investigate President Trump's former FBI Director Christopher Wray? Yes or no?
I have no plans in going backwards. I have plans in safeguarding.
How about
this-
James Comey? Do you plan to investigate him?
Senator, every investigation will be subject to the same
Do you
legal
plan to
standard.
investigate James Comey, who's on your list?
I have no.
So what if he has a plan to conduct an investigation? What's so bad about an investigation? It's prosecuting people without evidence of a crime that's bad, but conducting investigations is not inherently bad, is it?
No, it's
intentions
not.
of going backwards.
How about
and
Bill
every
Barr?
intention of using the
Indictments aren't
Constitution.
either.
How about Bill Barr? Do you plan to investigate him, who's on your executive branch deep state, and you say you're going to ferret out the deep state?
No one
Yes or
that
no?
did not break the law will be
It
investigated.
no answers to any of those. Okay.
No answer.
No answers to stupid questions is what it boils down to.
Well, he did. He did give.
No,
answers.
not the answer she wanted.
Yeah, right. What a doofus. What a moron. Come on, Hawaii.
But
I guess I can't be too harsh with my friends in Hawaii because in Connecticut they've got Murphy and Blumenthal. I guess my beef is with people. Jesus. How can you
Jeff,
vote for
remember,
these people?
actually, those people that accepted the pardons from Biden. What happened to you? You're frozen. It looks like Jeff froze for a minute there. I hear you.
We had a little internet glitch there.
Okay, you're fine. So anyway, those people that accepted the Biden pardons, they are totally possible to be investigated because if they weren't guilty, they shouldn't have accepted them. So maybe Patel's going to have to do some investigations.
All right. Well, tomorrow night we're going to be on at 8 o'clock with Scott Ritter, Ask the Inspector.
Yep.
Ryan will be backstage for most of the show, but then he will emerge on camera for the lightning round, a new segment that's become very popular. Join us on these same social media channels starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and then we will be back with the next episode of The Whiners next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks to Salman Ahmad, the world's most impressive hyphenate. That guy does it all.
Isn't he interesting? Wasn't he fascinating?
Yeah,
totally fascinating.
Doctor, musician, activist.
And he didn't. We didn't get into it, but while he was at the inauguration, he and his wife. I don't know if I'm not allowed to tell this, but they saved a man who was having a heart attack. It was fantastic. They're like always on the case to help people. That's the key thing about him that I.
All right. Well, if you're a doctor and somebody is having a heart attack or something, you got to respond. Right?
No, he's phenomenal person. So,
all right. If I was on the scene and somebody was experiencing a problem, you know what I would do? I would call 911.
You'd call 911.
I don't like to brag, but I would like to say that I have memorized that number.
Well, and just putting it back up there again on the screen for Sal, the Salman and Samina Global Wellness Initiative. I don't know if his band Junoon advertise. Probably they don't advertise there, but they're going to be in Toronto, May 11th. I won't be in the Western Hemisphere that time. But
well, let's find out if he's going to be doing any U.S. dates. He said he had to go, so I didn't want to prolong his time here when he had to go. But let's find out if he's going to be doing any U.S. dates, and maybe that would be a good opportunity for us to convene and enjoy a little kinship,
absolutely.
Little fellowship.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
Thanks
I know
to
he
our
had a
beloved
blast.
audience. Thanks to you, Ryan, for just being you. And we'll see you tomorrow night and Ask the Inspector, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.